it's not working. Your recording button's not working, Paul. Oh, there we go.
I blame Surface.
Yeah.
No, don't blame Surface.
Okay, we're recording. So if you do not consent, please disconnect, and the normal rules of engagement there in code of conduct and participants apply. So welcome to the grand finale. We'll finish off with the draw for the coffee machines. But before we get there, we are going to do a news and inspire in 30 seconds, let's call it. Then Zach, who is guesting on this call, not taking ownership, welcome back, Zach, is going to cover off what I've taken to calling MCPP, just to confuse my dyslexic thing. Rhonda will do the prizes for the coffee machine giveaways. Then we've got some credits and thank yous. Then we'll stop recording and do the Q&A. So just in news, this is coming up later today, 2 o'clock, I believe, 60 minutes, where Phil does a partner community, and yes, my link is working on that one. So if you want to click through to that to join it, that's not the calendar invite. So you may just need to copy that link so you can join at 2 o'clock today. Okay, across to Rhonda.
Cool.
We'll try and keep it together.
I will. Hold on. I'm trying to take control. Here we go. We got it. Alrighty. All right. It's been a blast being on the show with Paul, guys. And thank you all who have now approved service resellers. It's fantastic to have you on board with us. I'm happy to say Paul did earn his coop last week, and demo stock orders are flowing in. These are great tools for you, so take advantage of the exceptional savings and click on the Find Out More link if you haven't already. Microsoft has recently launched their Modern Work with Surface and the Surface Plus offer. If you're selling M365 Business Premium, E3 or E5 licenses together with Surface device, your customer could be eligible for up to $70 rebate on each device. It's a great offer, so click on the link that I've attached to the slide to find out more about the TNCs. All right, thanks everyone again for your support, and we'll see you shortly. Thanks,
Cool,
Paul.
thanks, Rhonda. And you left it in the notes, I can still see it there. So I just made a comment in there that I will take out before I share the deck. But it's been great having you on the calls, and we look forward to the next season, which we'll give more details on later. But once again, if you click on that Find Out More, that will just it'll flick you through to your Outlook and generate an email to go through to Rhonda to open up discussions on how you can get a really good priced demo unit.
Mm-hmm.
So Inspire, we all went through this last week. Some early mornings, as Zach said, and some fairly long days, and Carol confessed to falling asleep during a few of them. For me, keynote, as always, Sadian, his keynote was fantastic. He's come a long way from just being a cloud engineer at Microsoft. I think he's got a good future in front of him. But the big announcements were around cloud, as always, so carrying on from last year around the Microsoft Cloud. But we now are announcing for public service, or the public domain government and the district's health boards and things, a cloud sovereignty, or a cloud for sovereignty, which means that our friends at the digital response team and the lawyers can apply New Zealand law to data centers. So it's a little bit like having an embassy in a data center, where it's sovereign ground. The rules that apply for that country apply to that allocation in the Azure cloud. So big news. Zach and I have been through counselling and things, but security is breaking away from modern work. So if you hadn't realised previous, security came under modern work in the business units. We are now separate units, so we're getting a divorce. So we're going to concentrate more on security across M365, and also Azure, which opened up a whole lot of responsibilities for me, I guess. A big focus on SMB, particularly with the change with Microsoft New Zealand now being part of ANZ rather than Singapore or APAC, means that we can focus on our core businesses that you guys are all seeing. And I think Zach's got some stats on maturity in the ANZ market, which speaks volumes to how well you guys are doing it. So leading into that, and that's a good segue to the focus around the MCPP or solution selling. Also immersion experiences. So I think I talked about earlier the gamification of Into the Breach. Microsoft are also now doing some workshops which are going to be customer facing, mainly for the enterprise, where they have a security team. But Zach and I's thinking is that we actually do this with partners into it. So you'll go into an environment that will be attacked, and you are to defend it using all the Microsoft security products or solutions. So that's mine. Zach's highlights.
Thank you. So yeah, Inspire whirlwind as always, late nights, early mornings, but it is always worth it to put in the kind of the hard yards at this time of year. So I thought I would just quickly run through some of my highlights and start with the modern work kind of pre-day. So as Microsoft partners, it is always kind of interesting to us to see what their strategy is, because that does impact our strategy. So I stayed up. I attended the Modern Work pre-day, which ran from 1:30 to 6 a.m. Last Monday. I even hopefully earned a few brownie points with the missus by offering to do the night feed for our baby that night while I watched some sessions. So I'm looking forward to cashing that check as well. But I thought we would quickly just start with a quick overview of what the Microsoft kind of 3-year growth priorities are. So by now, the M365 messaging should be coming through loud and clear. The Business Premium is still the kind of primary licensing vehicle that we will focus on to grow the hybrid work and the digital workforce movement. There is a lot more value being added into Teams as the converged communication platform. New apps are being added regularly, which offers a pretty wide range of integrations into the most commonly used third-party apps. So more of that flow of work can happen directly from within Teams. We have Excel Live coming. Paul and I and Rhonda, we typically present on this webinar from PowerPoint Live, which I think adds a tremendous amount of value to our presentations. So it's really exciting that Excel Live is coming to Teams meetings in the very near future. Public preview starts August, I believe. So this will allow us to collaborate on Excel sheets in real time directly from within a Teams meeting. And to those that are just about to ask, yes, Excel Live does support sheet views. So that means that everyone that is co-editing the workbook can kind of sort or filter however they want or need to without disrupting their colleagues they're collaborating with. There were a heap of good announcements for Teams, to be honest. So instead of running through them all, I have included a link to a handy blog down here. Got my laser pointer back. Go and check it out. There is heaps of cool stuff that is coming. And yeah, well worth getting familiar with to start to talk to your clients with. As you know, I'm a big fan of talking to your clients about the cool stuff. So make sure you check that out. So back to the pre-day content. I thought this slide was actually quite interesting, and it does align quite nicely with the primary topic of today's webinar, which is the MCPP or the MCPP, as Paul's coined it. There is a range of ways that Microsoft measures success. Revenue is obviously an obvious one, right? Other metrics are seat adds and usage, and these are going to become more important as we get more and more familiar with the MCPP. Microsoft are really, really keen to see partners enabling their customers to utilize more of the technology that we are selling to them. So this could be contained within a license that they've already purchased, for example, Defender for Business with the Business Premium bundle, or it could be more focused on to try to drive some of these new market segments into our customers. So for example, Microsoft Viva as an employee experience platform. partners that do push the boat out on some of these components and do drive these conversations with their customers on some of this newer tech, they do get noticed. All right, Microsoft they have internal scorecards, and these are the sorts of things that your friendly local Microsoft subsidiary does get measured on. So it is worth pushing the boat out and trying out some of these new technologies. So this is what Paul kind of made reference to earlier, and I just thought this was an interesting slide. So we, as a market segment here in New Zealand and as part of that greater ANZ region, we are classified in the most mature market segments from Microsoft. So that basically means that, you know, we have done a great job of getting the core licensing story out to the market. So now the focus becomes more on some of these upsell opportunities. So whether that's Viva, Teams Rooms, Teams Voice, Windows 365, it is all about growing the ARPU, or the average revenue per unit. So yeah, good to see that we are in this most mature market. One of the biggest announcements that landed during Inspire that should be of particular interest to us and our partners is Project Orland. We'll see if they change the name on this, not sure. Project Orland will look at your CSP customer base, and by applying data models, it will actually surface opportunities for you to act on from within your customer base. So the link here on our bullet point list, that will actually take you to register your interest to join the public preview of Project Orland. Project Orland has been delivered to help partners with some of these most common challenges that they feel hold them back from growing that ARPU within their customer base. So these may be things like having too many customers but not enough employees to kind of engage proactively, or indeed not having enough insights on how to best target your customers. So Project Orland is basically here to help. It will provide go-to-market actions for you to take. This may include products, specific deployment guides to targeted customer conversations or marketing content. It will actually surface best practice and content from Microsoft to help you manage your customers better. It will also prioritize high-value customer engagement. So that's this column here. This will help you be more efficient by highlighting the most impactful or urgent opportunities. There is still a lot of detail to come on this, but if it's of interest, go click the link, register for the public preview. Moving swiftly on, and sorry, I'm going to have to rattle through this because I've got a lot to get through today. Another huge announcement was the digital contact center. This is really exciting for me. I think this has always been a gap in Microsoft's stable of offerings, and typically it has been filled by some very, very good third-party offerings for that contact center solution. But Microsoft are finally coming to the party, and I think it will probably shake up the contact center market pretty significantly. Microsoft do have all of the components required to deliver a fairly revolutionary offering in this space, with Teams kind of underpinning the secure omni-channel communication aspect. So this will allow contact center agents to engage with their customers in the model of communication that's most comfortable for them. So whether that's a video call or a voice call or instant messaging, and as you can see here, we've got a fairly wide range of social messaging platforms that customers will be able to engage with. And we also have the conversational AI that's been provided from Nuance, which was a recent acquisition from Microsoft. So this platform is built on Teams, D365, Dynamics 365, Power Platform, Azure, and as I said, pulls in that conversational AI piece from Nuance. Now, I'm not going to go too deep on this. I have written a blog on it this month, as has Tom Arbonaut. So if you check out our newsletter, which will be hitting the press very, very soon, there'll be a couple of articles in there about this topic. Missing a slide there. So basically, the Viva family continues to grow. There's been a couple of additional things come into it. So we've got Viva Goals, that's being added to the Viva suite. We've got a standalone Viva Sales module, and Microsoft also announced Inspire Viva Engage, which is basically an evolution of the Yammer Communities app, which I'm sure you're all actively using day after day after day. It will basically kind of give a bit of a social media sort of stream, so you can share stories with your colleagues and all that sort of good stuff. And then finally, we are back on the road. So we will be taking the Inspire Roadshow out and about across the country. So we'll be hitting all of these main centres here And we will also be hitting some of the regions as well. We will do another slide on this towards the end of the presentation. EDM's gone out yesterday, so please get in there, register, and we will look forward to seeing you all in your home patch. Okay, so into the meat of it. 15 minutes to go. All right. So Microsoft earlier this year, they announced some really substantial changes to the partner program. They have made the move away from the classic silver and gold competencies to a new program, which is called the MCPP or the MCPP or the Microsoft Cloud Partner Program. The MCPP introduces solutions partner designations, and these are aligned to the 6 solution areas that Microsoft use as their go-to-market pillars. All right, so we've got 3 in the Azure space: infrastructure, data and AI, and digital and app innovation. We've got Biz apps or business apps, which is effectively the dynamic space, and then we've got the previously happy couple, which are now divorced: modern work and security. So these changes, these start to come into effect at the end of September. And that what happens then is effectively the legacy competencies, the silver and gold badges, they will basically become no longer valid. On the 3rd of October, the new solutions partner designations then become available to attain. So a couple of important points here just to cover, as I know there's a few kind of hot topics contained within all of this. Legacy benefits are able to be retained beyond the 30th of September until your next renewal date. On your next anniversary date after October the 3rd, you will be able to effectively repurchase your silver or gold benefits by paying the legacy silver or gold competency fee. Action packs, they will remain in place, although I ain't going to confirm for how much longer. I did hear someone mention on one of the Inspire sessions that action packs will get reviewed at some stage in the relatively near future. So watch this space on this one. And then as we currently understand it, from October 2023, you will have to have a solutions partner designation to be eligible for benefits. All right, we'll see how this evolves over the coming year. So with regards to these solution areas, Microsoft has actually kind of handily mapped out the likely path on which to travel from a legacy competency to a solutions partner designation. Now, Microsoft have kind of positioned the change to the solutions partner designations as a simplification on the competency world. And in terms of the number of options, yeah, this is true. So there were 18 different competencies, and there was silver and gold paths contained within them, whereas we only have 6 solution partner designations for partners to start to work towards. So this is hopefully going to allow partners to really focus on what designation fits their skill sets as a partner best. So the modern work designation, this is a really good catch-all for any partners that have previously utilized the small and mid-market cloud solutions competency. Now within modern work, there are 2 tracks. There's an SMB track and an enterprise track. So I thought for the purpose of this presentation, we'll quickly run through the SMB track, since that will probably be the one that kind of most commonly fits with our partner base. Before we get into that, the solutions partner designation, the actual process of attaining it has been simplified. So, with competencies, there's a whole bunch of different metrics you had to achieve to get to it. Whereas on the solutions partner designations, this has all been standardized. So you need to get 70 points out of an available 100 points across these 3 different areas. All right, so we've got performance, skilling, and customer success. Performance is fairly straightforward. This is focused on net customer adds over a trailing 12-month period. Skilling is focused on employees within your business achieving Microsoft certifications. And within some of these designations, there may be a split between intermediate and advanced certs. Customer success is focused on usage growth and solution deployment. And depending on the designation, there's a kind of a range of different measurement mechanisms that you can start to leverage. And I'll touch on this a little bit more in a minute. So this slide shows you how these 100 points are spread across the different designations. So initially, you'll note that they're not consistent. Some of things are weighed more heavily in different categories than others. For example, all of the Azure designations, they've got a big 30 points here for net customer adds. So Microsoft are clearly trying to get partners to focus more customers to come on to Azure. Others focus more in the skilling category. So, there's a pretty big 40 points available here in the security competency. So again, Microsoft focus clearly to try to upskill partners in the security space. In the modern work area, because this is fairly mature as a solution, there's most of it is kind of focused here in the customer success area. So we've got 55 points available across the usage growth component and the deployment component. So this is obviously clearly focused on actually getting our customers to start to utilize the technology that we have already sold. Right, so it does kind of make sense when you start to think about how all these different areas are weighed. So with modern work, obviously being near and dear to my heart, I thought we could do a bit of a closer look at the spread of points across the different areas of this designation. And again, I thought we would focus on the SMB threshold, as this is probably going to be where most of our partners are playing. Now, as you can see here, net customer adds. Microsoft are looking for 10 net customer adds of 10 users or more to achieve the maximum 20 points within this area. All right, so this is kind of an important distinction to make. For a customer to be eligible for the net customer add metric, they must have 10 PAU or paid available units for at least one eligible workload. Now here we have the eligible workload, so it's a pretty wide range. You've got Intune, you've got Exchange, Pro Plus, SharePoint, Teams call, and more. So as long as you're delivering 10 PAU, paid active workload units, on one of those workloads, that should kind of add as a net new customer add. Each new customer added gives you 2 points, up to a maximum of 20. So you can claim these customers via a couple of methods. All right, you can see down here we've got the eligible association types. So we've either got the typical CSP association, which everyone will have done with all of their customers, or we have CPOR. CPOR is claiming partner of record. And this is a mechanism where a customer will actually have to validate the fact that you have delivered that workload to them as their trusted partner. And we'll touch a bit more on this in a minute. From a skilling perspective, in the modern work, you would be looking at getting 2 intermediate certs, 2 people qualified on intermediate certs. So that could be something as straightforward as the MS900, the Microsoft 365 Fundamentals exam. That gets you 10 points. And you could then have one person to do the advanced cert, all right? And this one, there is only one. It's the Enterprise Administrator Expert. There are a bunch of exams you need to have passed to even get to that point. And the 2 final exams are a couple of challenging ones, the MS100 and MS101. And this would get you an extra 15 points. All right?
Yeah, just to clarify that Enterprise Admin Expert, that is, you have to have a MS500 or an AZ500 plus those 2 exams.
Thanks, Paul. And I'm just dropping a link in the chat, which kind of does some overview on that as well. So this is all hopefully that stuff that partners are already working towards or may have already achieved. But if you do have any desire to achieve the Modern Work Solutions Partner designation, these are 25 points. It should definitely be within reach and should be something that you're focusing on, and will provide a really good foundation to attain this designation. There we go. Yep, so next on to customer success. So there's 2 components here within the customer success area. We have usage growth and we have deployment. So let's start by looking at the usage component. There's 30 available points on this metric. So a little bit of context on this. What I think Microsoft is trying to achieve here is to recognize partners for particular workloads within a tenant. So let's say you've got a larger customer, let's say 100 seats, and one partner has delivered a Teams calling solution, and another partner has deployed their kind of primary M365 licensing, and they might have delivered the Exchange Online component. So under this new model, both partners in this scenario could be recognized for delivering part of the overall customer solution. All right, and again, so yep, you're right, Alan. This is for 10 PAU and under 300 for SMB. If you have customers that are over 300, then they would fall under the enterprise track. So as you can see on this metric, as I mentioned earlier, there's a couple of ways you can kind of claim your association to the customer or to the workload. Firstly, you can just have your standard CSP association. On the face of it, this is a nice, easy process. So, if you're already associated, why would you look at another method, CPOR? Well, the reason why you would look at doing CPOR instead of CSP is the threshold to achieve those points is actually significantly lower. All right, so again, CPOR is the claiming partner of record, and this actually requires you as a partner to provide some proof of execution of the workload being delivered and for the customer to sign it off. So, in short, there are more hoops for you to jump through, but the net result of this is that you only have to achieve 25% of the CSP target, so 500 monthly active users added over the trailing 12 months as opposed to 2,000. So Microsoft does have a kind of a scoring mechanism in terms of how that all works, and there's formulas involved and all that sort of good stuff. So instead of me butchering it, I've dropped the link in the chat. Go and have a look at it yourselves, please. And I've actually asked Paul to pop a document into the document repository that we'll share at the end of this presentation that actually takes you through the process of doing a CPOR claim as well, as I do expect this to probably be a relatively new experience for most partners. So make sure you download that and check it out, and let us know if you have any questions.
That link is up above Zach's post in the chat there if you want to jump in there and grab that documentation and learn some advanced calculus.
Yeah, exactly. So the deployments metric within the customer success area, fairly similar story, to be honest. On the SMB track, it's either 5 new deployments or 10 for CPOR, or 10 new deployments in the CSP one. And there's 25 available points there. So basically, each new qualifying CPOR deployment will get you 5 points, or each new CSP deployment will get you 2.5 points. Whichever aggregates more to the kind of higher points, that'll get you up to 25 points maximum. Now, you can earn points for this metric based on the growth in deployments of eligible workloads with a minimum monthly usage level, as we've discussed. So that's that 10 PAU. Now, you can only receive points for usage growth from the time you claim or associate with a customer. You will not receive credit for monthly active users that existed prior to your association. All right. You can do a bit of mixing and matching. So if you have some customers where you've done your CSP association and others where you actually go through that CPOR process to do those claims, they can be aggregated. So as Microsoft said, all really nice and simple, right? Now, I may hear some of you asking, what is in it for me? Well, as well as the ability to continue to receive rebates and incentives beyond October 2023, as we currently understand it, Microsoft have seriously beefed up some of the other benefits as well. So you get a pretty impressive array of internal usage rights. So we've got 200 M365 E5 users, which is probably more than most of our partners have, but it does give you access to all of the tools in the toolbox, which will then give you a chance to get a bit more familiar with some of those tools and take them out to, as an offer to your customers. There's also a pretty substantial Azure Dev credit of 6K per year. That's a pretty serious investment, right? And again, that could lead to you creating some additional service offerings to your customers, which can in turn, increase your profitability down the road. There is not much information on what incentives look like yet under this new model. Typically, incentive cadence is released in October. So as soon as we have some of those details, we will share them with you. All right, so a lot of information to take in there, and apologies for wind. But what should be your next steps? For me, I would highly recommend going and starting here, having a thorough read of the documentation on whatever solutions partner designation you intend to work towards. Microsoft have actually done a really good job on providing a lot of content and information well ahead of time, which obviously goes live in October. There are substantial changes, and this will impact all of our partners. So I would also recommend you start to have a think of a plan and a roadmap, work out what you want to achieve, when you want to achieve it by, and you can actually go and see how you are currently stacking up against these solutions partner designations, right? So if you go through to Partner Center, I think it's under the membership competency section, you will see solutions partner designations. The 6 designations are there. You will have a score in terms of how you're currently tracking. I have talked to a number of partners about this already. I've seen some with 0. I have seen some with 50, more than 50. Either way, there are, okay, hopefully you know where Partner Center is, Mark. Either way, there'll be plenty of time for most partners to achieve the metrics. So yeah, just don't forget, you will continue to receive those legacy benefits up until at least October 1st, 2023. Of course, we also want to help our partners work towards a solutions partner designation. So please do let Paul and I know if there is specific training that you need from a skilling perspective. And we will work out how we as Dicker can come to the party and help you guys upskill to get to where you need to be. Oh, right on time. So yeah, over to you, Paul.
Sorry, it was just answering Alan's question about their logging into Partner Center. So just make sure that you're logged in at work, and then just visit partner.microsoft.com. I think take you through to the right page, and then just make sure you log in and you've got permissions on Partner Center. That's probably a good idea that we do some stuff on Partner Center for the next season. So feel free to drop us some comments and feedbacks and suggestions on that email. Nominate some guests for next year, because those are great. Well, let's just roll some credits. So I'd just like to say a big thanks to my co-hosts, Zach and Rhonda, and all the team in the background that makes this all possible. And also a name that I didn't put on there, Josh Tahira, for having the faith to sort of like say, yeah, just do it. So we ripped into it. We've had some great guests on there, and the team in the background have been really supportive of this, as have you, by giving us half an hour of your time every Wednesday. So here's the dates that we will be doing around town, the full date. So it is very much a New Zealand road trip with a toddler. All the kids and their mum and dad will be coming and visiting close. The registration link is here for the form. If you're outside those main centres that are listed on the form, just click the box, I want to see a Microsoft specialist, and we'll set up a date, probably at a pub in Queenstown or something like that, with you, and rack up some expenses. So once again, huge thank you. Without the partner community that we've got, none of this would be possible. So you guys do some brilliant work out there. Thank you for your feedback. I guess there's nothing left to do but give away a couple of coffee machines, Rhonda.
Yay, cool.
You
Okay.
live for this, don't you?
I do. It's so much fun. Okay, so Lauren Nobbs, congratulations. And Chet Ormsby, congratulations, guys.
Congratulations.
Well done. So what's next? I think it's season 5. I've actually lost count. We'll be coming October. We're going August. We're tripping around around the country doing the Tiki tour. Then September we're probably recovering, getting over our hangovers, and then we'll be back afresh in October. So let us know your ideas. We will probably be moving the time an hour later, because Australia loves what we're doing, and Australian Dicker Data want a piece of the action as well. So they want to be onto our webinars. So as long as they toe the line and do what we tell them, we're open to that. And I think that's about it for us. Apologies for going 4 minutes over. So it's goodbye from all of us. Thank you again. We will stay online after I finish the recording. So if you have any questions, and we look forward to catching you all again in October. So we're out of here.
Thanks, everyone.
Excuse my blips on the transitions. I just went PowerPoint loose.
Something happened. So guys, please register to come out and see us while we travel around the countryside.